Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Anila Wong, board certified emergency physician and fellow in anti-aging metabolic functional medicine, practicing preventative medicine, preventative aesthetics, focusing on resilient immune system, restoring energy, better intimacy, strong core, anti-linking, and anti-sagging to improve your quality of life with optimal health and vitality to the very end, because that's what I want from me. So, people are asking me about the cold and flu season because school is getting back into full swing. What do you do? I have a couple of teenagers in high school, and what do? I mean, I go always back to my four basics, right? Um, Select the right foods, got to be clean, rainbow of color. Vegetables are so tired of hearing me. They got to eat well. But and sometimes they don't. So we have to plan for that. Have a little fun. They like to do their sports and have fun throughout the day. And, they got to use the body, which they have no problem with doing that because they're in their sports. And then sleeping and restoring, which that's a big problem because they don't go to bed enough and get enough repair and restoration and repair for the next time they have onslaught of injuries to their activities. So I'm always trying to balance that out. So if they have too much sugar, they didn't eat enough vegetables, they didn't sleep enough, and then they're around getting too much toxins in the air or whatever that's happening. I know that I need to support their bodies a little bit because it's just going to be their immune system's going to be depressed a little bit. And so they're going to have nutrient deficiencies. And so when you have those issues from lack of sleep or too much exposure to toxins, and you're getting exposed to a virus constantly, you're not avoiding them, you're constantly being bombarded by them, but it's how well you can fight them off. And if you're nutriently deficient, you're going to have some issues with that. So cold and flu season is just where I kind of tank them up and make sure so that I know if they didn't get their vegetables, I'm going to tank them up some B vitamins. I'm going to make sure that they get extra antioxidants and some anti-inflammatory herbs and, spices and things like that. So you just have to watch out for those things. And, the flu is basically an upper respiratory illness. It's an influenza. It's transmitted from person to person. You get fever, cough, runny nose, body aches, sore throats, headaches, fatigue, vomiting, diarrhea. In the ER, you can test whether or not in the ER, when I'm in the ER, I can test whether or not they have the flu or they have COVID. And then after that, then I don't know, just say that you have a virus, a common everyday coronavirus, but not COVID, not SARS-CoV-2, not 19. So it's common cold, runny nose, congestion, that type of thing. Flu, you usually get the fever, the headache, body aches, and you can get secondary infections, which is that your immune system is depressed, and so now you can get a bacterial infection. So you may get an infection in the sinuses, you may get an infection in your lungs, you may get a skin infection, a bladder infection, you get anywhere ever because now your microbiome is out of balance. So, so I'm always saying, so I kind of know how the boys have been eating, what's been going on with them, and then I'll need to tank them up and I'll say, get some extra vitamin C, maybe 1,000 grams, maybe 3-4 times a day. If I can get it to them once, that would be pretty good because vitamin C will boost your white blood cells and shorten the durations of cold. So getting some fruits and vegetables, whole foods, vitamin D. A lot of people are deficient. I mean, unless we're running around naked with just a loincloth and having the sun exposed to us, everyone's going to have be deficient in it. We don't have rickets to that point because it's supplemented in our different foods, but we just don't get enough vitamin D. So if they've been sick or kind of in contact or getting under the weather, I'm going to take them up to 50,000 units for about 7 days and maybe 10,000 units daily. But if I can get 5,000 in a day, I'm pretty lucky because they only will take one of my supplements of that. So I'll try to increase that. Sometimes I use echinacea, or you can use 100 milligrams 2-3 times a day. And so depending on different tinctures and what you have, if you have a tincture, maybe 900 milligrams, or tea. Elderberry is good, 10 milligrams to can boost your immune, relieve some sinus pains. Oregano, I love oregano, 500 milligrams twice a day. It's antiviral. Zinc is great, always getting enough. But if you're taking more than 30 milligrams, you're going to want to use copper to offset that. And then the B vitamins, sometimes you get it in brewer's yeast if they won't take the B vitamins, you can always sprinkle some brewer's yeast. When my boys were little, I had brewer's yeast on all their food. I sprinkled it on everything. And then just getting their microbiome, getting the digestion functioning well. So yeast and supplements, probiotics is good. I also use I formulated my own product that's got which is an immune GI restore to keep the healthy gut healthy. So when I tell them when they're eating too much sugar, they had a little bit too much cakes, if they've eaten gluten or white bread or pasta or things that they're not supposed to have and more, they know that they're going to take a little packet just to keep their gut in line. It's got wormwood in it, it's oregano, garlic, caprylic acid, all of these things, cacao. So just to help balance out the fungus and the parasites and the viruses and the bacteria. And then, quercetin, NAC, vitamin A is good for the lungs, also good for the eyes. But, and Hersperding, which is in your citrus fruits, and just turmeric is other, curcumin, another supplement. So I just try to mix a blend, make sure that they get this in all their foods, and try to tank them up. And then when I know that they've been eating out more, not eating more, I'm going to really get them their supplements, whether or not I use whatever products that I have that I can to boost them up. And then always, get fresh air. You don't want to be in a closed house. We don't have that issue so much on the West Coast here. Our houses are open, but if they're closed up like they have been lately and you've been using air conditioning, you want to open it up, make sure they, get fresh air, make sure that they're sleeping. I have that big issue because being an ER doctor and doing shift work, I was up all night, and we used to be night owls and stay up late. So we have this bad habit of staying up late. But if they get their sleep and they get deep sleep and restorative, I feel that that's important. And hydration is key. And you don't want it just to be water, because water is hypotonic, so it doesn't transmit across the cell wall, and you want it to be isotonic, maybe so that the membranes and the ions, the positive negative charges, then they can flow through. So if you get enough, so if they're out there doing sports and they're sweating a lot and they don't have enough sodium, and you want to replace the sodium and potassium so that they can get the right ions in there, and then that can help them absorb the magnesium, which is going to help them restore and recover from their activities. Dehydration is a big factor. They'll get fatigue and headache and weakness, and just they don't feel so good. So you want to make sure they're hydrated, use electrolytes. So I'll usually make sure that they have a lot of that electrolytes, and then just good foods. You can use herbal teas or bone broth. Bone broth is just like, there's something to be said about mother's homemade chicken soup, right? So that actually has a lot of nutrients in there, and it has been shown studies that it is very effective in keeping you healthy and making you feel better when you are sick. If you are a little bit sick, the hot water with the lemon and cinnamon, and it helps with preventing the mucus buildup and keeping you hydrated. The raw honey, you don't want to do it in little infants, though, of course. Onions help you boost your immune system. And then I'll use our own internal system of glutathione, so maybe adding a little bit of that. Other herbs, I use astragalus is one important thing. So just the whole combination. It's just not one thing, but it just goes back to the 4 pillars. I always say you gotta eat well, you gotta have a good attitude, have happiness and joy, move and sleep, and then make sure that you're just getting the right nutrients and supplement, and then just know that we're always fighting off those viruses, and just do what you can nutritionally to help that, and take all those antivirals. And I have an ebook on my website that can also help you figure out what those things are. Peptides is also a thing that we can also use to help boost people's immunity. So if you struggle with that, but I'm always here for tips. So if you find this information useful, if you can like it, share it, please let me know if you find it interesting or whatever topics you'd like to hear about, because Always consult your doctor before you make any changes, and I'm happy to collaborate and work with your doctor as a subspecialist in optimizing your health. And I can be reached at my website at anitawangmd.com or 949-734-0580. And you can schedule a complimentary discovery call, and we can chat. Until next time, I hope you all stay safe and well.